Hi, I'm Corinne Lesh with EdScoop, and I'm here with Beatriz Arnillas. Beatriz, thanks for being here with us.
You're very welcome.
So why don't we start by talking a little bit about what are Houston's top technology priorities right now?
Well, we've been through our one-to-one implementation and we figured that out. So right now we're focusing on high-quality digital content. So we're doing interoperability in a big way. And also, now that our teachers are completely committed to digital, we are focusing on data privacy, safety, and security. And so we're doing a few programs connected to that.
Why the shift to privacy and security? Are you seeing more concerns or issues in that area?
Right. If you think about it, 2 or 3 years ago, we were all worried about infrastructure and bandwidth and networking, and will we be able to convince teachers that this is something helpful, that technology can in fact help them focus on learner-centered instruction. And I think while we aren't in the point where we are personalizing learning 100% of the time, I think now we are at a point where most teachers and most schools and most leaders believe that technology is a great differentiator. Mm-hmm. So at this point, teachers are utilizing digital resources, both free and for pay, in great numbers. And all of a sudden, about 2 years ago, we said, oh, well, we need to start looking at the free resources that teachers are using and see how we can support them to make sure that they're mindful of what resources they're using and how they're using them. Mm-hmm. Are they paying attention to the age level, mm-hmm. What apps they're using, how are the apps treating student data, et cetera. So
it must be kind of tough to oversee, such a large school district where teachers might be using a lot of different programs, right? So how do you sort of manage that?
Well, we knew what were the programs that teachers were using for the most part because they were programs that had been introduced through our Power Up implementation. By districts that were supporting us and by other consulting partners. So we made a list of all the main digital applications that are free, mm-hmm. that our teachers were using. Because the ones we purchased, well, we have data sharing agreements and that kind of thing. But we partnered with Common Sense Media and the Future Privacy Forum, and we worked with a bunch of other school districts. We developed rubrics and gold lists and started evaluating license agreements ourselves. Mm. And we created a little scorecard with 3 different levels of measurement for privacy, safety, and security. So you get 3 scores. But we create these little easy-to-read cards for teachers.
Okay.
That say, if you use this, not for children under 13, or parental consent is required, or teachers can use it, but we don't suggest students do, and et cetera.
Has there ever been an issue that's come up with, questionable vendor practices?
We haven't had an issue yet. We had a situation where some 5th graders were in a chat room, and there was a stranger that entered the chat room. So for that, Google Apps for Education, is a good thing because we get to control. We get to say what apps are open and which ones are not, and they've made a pledge, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm.
So was Google able to identify that some strange person went in there?
With Google Apps for Education, you're able to determine whether you open Google Hangouts or not. So you can control what apps are available. And Google has made a commitment for their core apps. Mm-hmm. Their core apps adhere to FERPA, COPA, SIPA, et cetera. So we can decide which apps are open for what grade levels and for who. Mm-hmm. And that pretty much protects the students by age group, so to speak.
Great. So talk a little bit about the Power Up initiative. What year are you on that right now?
So this is the last year of the Power Up initiative. So now, today, all 66,000 of our students in the high school level have a laptop device that they can take home. And even though we didn't expect improvement in literacy, for example, on year 1 or 2, we in fact did have literacy improvements on year 2.
I was going to ask, what sort of results have you seen as a result of
in the literacy scores? We saw like a 12% increase among African American populations, 7% for Latinos, and 6% for low-income students, 7% for Caucasians, and that's just in a year and a half implementation. So if you think about it, our year 1 schools had devices for 10 months because we started them on the second half of the year. And our second year schools had devices only for 3 or 4 months. So that's significant. And that's just the autonomy, the availability of the technology. And I think the autonomy, you can never stress that enough. The power for the students to have the power to be in control is really important. So so now we have figured out how to implement it, right? And
If every kid has it, yeah.
each school knows how to manage the whole process of, how to tag the devices and inventory them, distribute them, secure them, replace them, fix them, etc. All that is in place, and it's become part of the operation of the school. So that's good news. From now on, it's about maturity and continuing to go down the road of learner-centered instruction and slowly moving from just incorporating technology to using technology to improve instruction and to put the learner in the center of things. So.
And did you model this after anyone else, or have you seen other big districts do this? Because it must take a lot of sort of well-managed infrastructure to support all of these devices.
We did. We got lots of help from colleagues. We had help from the regional neighbors, Klein ISD in particular. We worked very closely with Mooresville Graded School District. We had Discovery Education as partners as well. So a lot of people helped us. And we also implemented our one-to-one by collaborating. 7 different departments in the district run Power Up on years 1 and 2. So all the critical decisions we made about the program were made by curriculum, IT, educational technology, communications, school leadership, etc. So everything was carefully thought, and nobody just imposed their vision on the district. We figured out what was the solution for the district by working together.
And what all does your role encompass? I mean, you seem to be overseeing a lot of moving parts, so.
So I have a very small team at EdTech and IT. We all came from teaching and learning, and we were all instructors or teachers who loved technology, and we had all experimented with technology in our area. So the beauty of the team is that we have some science teachers and engineering teachers and math teachers, and we are partners in the innovative part of the implementation, and we're all instructional designers. So frequently what we do is develop the training to train the teacher coaches, to train the professional development people, to train the teachers themselves. And but the team is technical enough to also do a lot of the testing, software testing and software analysis, and when things are not working, interoperability and things like that. So we're a little bit more techie than most techie teachers, right?
Got it. And what advice would you have for up-and-coming CTOs or IT directors that want to, move up in their careers or even get in the field?
To me, when I look at the Houston story, I really believe that the trick to our success has been that my group, Education Technology, was brought into IT. And as you can imagine, that wasn't always comfortable for either side, the ed techs or the other IT people. But the success hinges on the extremely good relationship that we have with our infrastructure, logistics, and data people. We build that relationship. And so as the ed techs push, because we do, right? And the IT guys feel uncomfortable, and we kind of find that balance. That's what makes the difference.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. I'm Corinne Lesh with EdScoop. Thanks for watching.